Hello everyone, you're watching Newcastle United Life and Times YouTube channel. My name is Rob, and on today's show I'm joined by Paul and Len, and we're here to discuss Newcastle's I didn't get to see all the game, but by all accounts we didn't perform very well. So we're going to dissect the 3-2 defeat down at Stamford Bridge last night. Now before we start, I just seen a little bit of the game, and what I seen, for me, Chelsea were there for the taking. I didn't watch the whole game, so I'll pass it over to you guys. You've seen all the game. We'll start with you this week, Len. What was your take on the game? And
well, I thought we were excellent for the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
We pressed so far forward in that first half. I was really impressed. I thought, particularly in that, even after we conceded the goal, really impressed with the way we were doing it, and they were taking chances at the back. And I thought, probably what you're saying there, Rob, I thought they were there for the taking at that point. I thought if they're going to piss around with the ball at the back like that, we're going to win this game. But 6 minutes into it, they scored. And straight away you think this could be a really long night. And it was longer than I could have ever imagined. If I was to summarise the game, I went to see my father-in-law, listens to it on the radio, and I said, Peter, it was absolute shit. It was just a shitty match, a shitty performance, and bar one player, which is Tino Livramento, everybody had an off day. It was just dreadful. Obviously, we then go on and equalise with a fantastic goal from Isaac. Really, really good goal. They then go on another scrappy goal. In fact, all their 3 goals were pretty scrappy. It was like we gifted them, really. They go and then score a second. And then I think when they score the third, for me, I could have switched off at that point because there was no way we were going to get back in the game. It was game over. Credit where a little bit of credit's due. Murphy came on, absolutely fantastic goal. And I think that's probably the disappointing thing is we scored 2 cracking goals and got absolutely nothing out of the game. However, we deserved absolutely nothing out of the game. Livramento apart, I don't know where their heads are. They just don't seem to be trying. I mean, Longstaff, Paul will agree with us here. Longstaff hasn't been at it for weeks and weeks. Botman, who in the past you've been able to rely on, obviously he was at fault for at least one of the goals. And you just think, what is he doing in that situation? It's just a terrible trying to kick it out of defence, and he's just weak. He's completely out of it. And I have to say, Dan Burn is struggling massively. And there's no fault in his effort whatsoever, but he's out of his league against the top sides, if you want to call Chelsea a top side. And it's happening week after week, so something has to change there. And Isaac, apart from scoring the goal, I didn't have a great game either. So it's all a bit doom and gloom, really, because we're not just after such a great result against Wolves. We've just gone backwards. So 1 step forward, 2 back, as far as I'm concerned. I look at the league table, and I dreaded looking at the league table. I'm thinking, surely we can't still be 10th. And for some reason, we're still 10th. We're still just 3 points off 7th place. And I don't know how we are, because we're shipping in goals left, right and centre. I've got some stats written down here because Big Al's not on. So I thought, well, I'd better write something down. Only Brentford and Sheffield United have lost more away games than us this season. Only Sheffield United, us and Sheffield United have conceded 32 goals away from home this season. It's just unbelievable. And only Burnley... Oh, it is, because only Burnley, Luton and Sheffield United have conceded 3 or more goals this season. Burnley on 11 occasions, Luton and Sheffield United on 10 occasions, and Newcastle United on 9 occasions who have conceded 3 or more goals in the Premier League this season. It is relegation form, and that's how I don't understand how we're still 10th. We're getting away with it because we had a canny good spell early on in the season, because if we don't book our ideas up, we're going to slip down to 10th, 12th, 13th, and we're going to disappear it into oblivion. Bear in mind, we've got the FA Cup game on Saturday, and I think last night's performance, you go into that game not full of confidence. So that's all I've got to say. I think it's absolutely dreadful. I think Eddie Howe did say we were good. Okay, Paul said maybe say in patches, but I'm not sure we were good in patches. I must have missed that. I must have gone to make a cup of tea. So absolutely dreadful. We need to book our ideas up. Over to you, Paul.
Okay, very good, Len. Paul, what was your take?
I think you're right, Len. I think we did start well, didn't we? 6.
Aye.
Shocked to me, because I thought at the start would adopt the same tactics as Wolves last week. I thought we would have sat back a little bit and tried to hit them on the counter because they struggle against the low press, as everybody said. If they've got space, they've got some half-decent players that can play through you. But we started well, and then their first real attack, they scored from it. A really sloppy clearance from Botman. And Willen, I don't know what's happened to him. They're calling him Sven Boomsong on Twitter the day. It's really poor, which isn't a compliment, by the way.
No.
And then obviously we got back into it just before half time with a brilliant solo goal from Isak, who was isolated once again. He's just feeding off scraps, isn't he? The start of the match, I think Gordon got an injury quite early, and he didn't seem to be following that gusto down the right. He was having a cracking game, that right back, wasn't he? But Gordon, they were doubling up on Dan Burn. I felt a bit sorry for him first half because they were doubling up on him, and Gordon wasn't tracking. To be fair, we looked a lot better once Gordon went off. I don't know what's happened with his knee, but the physio came on and tried to. Did you see that when the physio?
Yeah.
But his knee back. I mean, what's going on with the medical stuff? Where they're getting them from? Have they got any training or anything? Or they just?
I think when he bent his leg there, I felt the pain, and I thought, God, that's another 2 weeks on top of
even my knee. Even my knee went then when I thought, Jesus. But out of the second half, that obviously 3 of the goals were probably avoidable. Cole Palmer, who was probably the man of the match, he was brilliant. He's been a great signing for them. Because Chelsea, they're not playing well. They're not a great side. They've got a team of individuals. We'll let them off the hook. Basically, we didn't get in their faces. I don't know what's happened from the team from last season. We're not tackling. The passing's off. There's a few of them look like they were on the beach. Like the say Len said, Livramento was probably the only positive. I thought that young lad White did all right when he came on. Him and Miley, at least. I mean, to get on to Longstaff, I mean, I don't know what has happened to him. It's just the only time he tackles is when he fouls somebody. He just seems to run up to them, get near them, and pretend to tackle them, and they just pass round him. He's so off the pace, and his touch is terrible. He's like a second division player. Yeah,
but why can't Eddie Howe see that? Why can't Eddie Howe see that?
I don't. I mean, when Anderson and Miley get fit, they have got to dislodge him out of sight.
100%.
You know, it's embarrassing playing him now. I mean, and if they're saying he's playing with an injury, it's bad enough playing Longstaff when he's fit, but playing him with an injury, dear me to God.
He has been off the pace, definitely.
Yes, and then obviously they got the Mudryk come on, who only seems to score against us. Another bit of, I mean, when Shaw's poor, he's poor, isn't he? I mean, them 2 centre-halves, we have got to get some pace in the centre-halves in the summer. We've got literally, apart from Livramento, there's no pace at the back. If you're playing a high line, you've got to have, look at Tottenham, they've got that Van de Ven in, and look a different side. You've got to have pace if you're playing a high line.
Talking about Livramento, I mean, he played on both sides, didn't he, last night? And he was totally, outshone everybody else on that pitch, I thought.
He was just getting them loads. He was just getting fouled every time he went forward.
Do you think the system Eddie Howe tries to deploy is a system that is designed to have around a keeper like Nick Pope, who comes out and collects anything in and around the edge of his box?
Yeah, well, he's like the sweeper keeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
You look at the stats, Dubravka's not for that, is he?
He's like an extra defender. He's like an extra defender, isn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the centre halves trust Dubravka behind them. I mean, he's played all right recently, but it's just the way he sort of commands his box and he plays as like a sweeper. I don't know. Something's just not right from last season. We're totally unrecognisable. It's just pretty dreadful at the minute, to be honest with you. Obviously this once Mudryk got the third, you thought, oh, that's it. And then even when Murphy got the second goal, I never felt like we had like any kind of pressure on, like the better teams do. Like they'll go to rate the final whistle. I never thought we had like another chance in it. It was a good strike line. Both goals were brilliant goals.
Brilliant, weren't they? Yeah.
But now you're getting 2-3 goals a game and you're still not getting anything out of it. It's just ridiculous. He needs to work on that defence. He really does. And the midfield's not giving them much protection. So all in all, it's pretty bleak at the minute. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. Haaland will have a field day if them two are as slow as they were last night.
One of the best ways to summarise it, really. I read something today saying Eddie Howe's team is nearing the end of its shelf life, and I think that was actually a good way of
Luke
putting it.
Edwards.
Yeah, and I thought, I've not really thought of it like that, but every team has its day, and now it's got to be a big revamp in the summer, whether we like it or not. We're sitting there hoping that we can just rediscover the form that we had with the players that we've got, and it doesn't appear. I can understand in Bruno's situation, he's frightened to tackle. I think that explains the situation in midfield. So he can't tackle because of the fact of the booking situation.
He's went 9 games without the booking now, hasn't he? They were saying last night.
But he's not as effective.
Got to be a record for him.
He's not as effective as what we need at the minute. We need somebody who does occasionally get a booking. He just got too many stupid bookings, I suppose. So I think, coming towards the end of its shelf life, I like the way he put that, because that's maybe the kindest way of saying Eddie Howe, changes need to be made.
There's a question just coming to chat there from Tunami Curl 123. He's put thoughts on Dubravka's positioning.
Yeah, I can't remember which goal it was. It could have been the first one, which he could definitely have saved. I think, as but I think on one of them he was unsighted. I think his position.
The first one, that one.
Was it the first one where you think, well, he should have saved that one?
I don't know about you. I think he's on about not just for the goals. I think it's his position during the match. Like, obviously, Pope plays higher up if he's a sweeper, doesn't he? He hits Dubravka's more or less on his line the full game.
I feel sorry for Dubravka. I feel sorry for Dubravka in many respects, because we're just shipping in. It's so obvious, if you look from the outside, or even as a Newcastle supporter, it's so obvious we're shipping in goals left, right, and centre. And I think a lot of it is down to the players in front of him rather than him, because he does still make some tremendous saves. But he's just, it's unfortunate he's the one carrying the can at the minute, because no doubt when Nick Pope does eventually come back in, we'll probably stop conceding as many goals, and it'll be a case of, well, it was all down to Nick Pope coming back. But it is important that we'll get Pope back, but the players in front of him have got to be better, got to do better in basic situations than what they're currently doing.
See, if I had got a result last night, we would have had a great little chance going in. We've got West Ham and who's the other one? They've got Everton in three or 4 days at home, haven't they, coming up? After they've got a break after Man City, but that would have been great to get points last night and another hopefully 6 in them 2 home games. I mean, we're running's quite favourable, but the way we're playing, I mean, you could, like I say that, but we drew against Luton, drew against Bournemouth. We can't beat these bottom sides hardly.
Yeah, well, we certainly can't keep a clean sheet against them, that's for sure.
No.
And that is worrying.
Yeah,
very worrying.
It's very worrying, and like I say, Gordon could be out for the season. We don't know the extent of his injury. Barnes got a minor hamstring, so how long's he out? Hopefully he's back for the West Ham game. Anderson's obviously going to get his fitness. I didn't think Willock did much last night. I thought he was pretty poor by his standards, but when you're playing alongside Longstaff, it'll probably rub off on you, won't it? You're doing the work of 2 men, run the run with him. Okay,
lads, great assessment. Right, we'll swiftly move on to the game on Saturday, BBC One 5:30 away to Manchester City. I'll be honest with you, I am not confident 1 iota, and I'll be happy if the scorelines we don't get.
I'm confident, Rob. I'm confident we're going to get knocked out the cup.
Yeah. I can't really say anything. Look, I think at best we're going to have to score 3 goals, because I think Man City will score at least twice against one. I just can't see it happening.
See, that's the type of game you would need Gordon in, isn't it? Pace down the flanks. And if he's out, you're thinking, oh, God. It'll be Miggy and Murphy, won't it? Although Murphy did well when he came on last night.
I was going to say, Paul, Murphy looks good. I think Miggy looks better on the other side. When they swapped last night, I thought that was better when they swapped wings last night. And I think Murphy will still, even against a team like Man City, he'll give it everything. But have they really got that quality when it comes down to that final third of the pitch? Probably not.
No. So we'll do a quick score prediction for Saturday. I'm going to go 3-1 Man City.
I think it'll be 3. I think we'll get beat 3-0. I'm not confident at all, and I can't even see we're scoring, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Paul. 3-0. As it happens, you'll not believe this, but I'm out on Saturday night again. Michael McIntyre.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, Michael McIntyre this week, so I'll be in a restaurant having a chip pizza probably before going to see Michael McIntyre. I might be having a burger, who knows? But anyway, I'll not be watching the match. I'll just be relying on updates coming through on my phone. And I just, if it comes up that we've been beaten 3-0, I'll say, crack on, let's move on to the next game, because I think if we'll get away with that. Because if Man City don't even need to be at their best. I can just see them taking the absolute piss out of us on Saturday.
Well, look at that on Saturday. Did you see that at the start of the season when we just beat Villa? And I think they had a midweek game and we were actually favourites going to the Etihad. Can you remember?
Mm-hmm.
And annihilate. Well, they didn't annihilate. Well, they had Wild Hour, but it was only 1-0. But
take game.
If we couldn't beat them that night, we're not going to do anything there now. Like when we've lost half our team as well.
I mean, look, it's not impossible. It's stranger things have happened, but I just can't see anything in recent performances. Like we're shipping goals left, right, and centre.
We'll have to let it be like a Villa performance when we went away at Aston Villa.
Like a one-off.
Yeah.
So do you think he'll stick with the same players? And if he does think we're quite good last night, do you think he sticks with the same players and tries again, or do you think he makes 2 or 3 changes?
Well, I think Kraft will go into right back and then Livramento at left back, because Burn looked like he went off with an injury, so that's got to happen. I think one of the midfielders I think Longstaff's got to be dropped. He'll just be chasing shadows.
Bring Miley back in.
I'd rather play with 10 men than play with him, to be honest with you.
Okay. So, from a few months ago, have you changed your opinion on where we're going to finish in the league now?
If I could remember what I said a few months ago, Rob, I would have said I'm sure I should be chasing 7th place in a good cup run, maybe win the cup and squeeze into Europe. Now, honestly, being realistic, I didn't like to be pessimistic. Well, we're out the cup, and if I was being as optimistic as I could, we'll get the injuries back, we'll have a great run, and we'll sneak into 7th. But if I was a betting man, I think we'll finish roughly where we are, and it'll end up as a we'll remember it as being a disappointing season because of the second half of the season, when really, the European adventure was a great part of the season, and we shouldn't really forget that. But I think I can see the season fizzling out. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, it depends who's fit and who we can get back and stuff. I mean, I did see worrying signs last night that a few of them have just given up.
Yeah,
and that's not a good sign when you've got 10 games left.
And I think somebody said a couple of shows ago as well. You get 1 or 2 back, probably you, Rob, and then you get 1 or 2 go back out injured. So it's like 2 are back, and 2 are injured. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happening again now. We've actually got a much better bench, even though it's still a bit shit. We've got a better bench than what we did have, and we're just playing worse. We're just worse than ever.
I mean, we can't even use sort of the injuries actually on fatigue. We certainly can't use fatigue. We haven't played for 9 days.
Yeah.
Then soon they'll be saying, "Oh, well, we haven't played for so long," or we've got to find our rhythm. Well, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree. Yeah.
Now, just compared to last season, it just seems to be going backwards. It's been a bit of a regression, hasn't it? Especially when we're getting players back now, and you're still not seeing any improvement in the defensive side of it. Well, fair enough, we're scoring a lot of goals, but it's really worrying how many chances we're conceding. Teams are just, once you get past the midfield, they're just walking through.
Too easy, yeah. Too easy.
Yeah, I mean, on another positive, we've got the 4th best goal difference in the league. Still on +11. It just amazes me. Because,
that's an extra point, really, if you get it. Yeah. I mean, 8th could qualify for Europe this season. Yeah. 8th,
So I would, like I say, I think the season is going to fizzle out. That's my honest opinion. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we have a real good push, good end of the season, and we'll finish 7th or 6th. But it's going to take a big turnaround in performances from individuals, and I think I've always gone back to this as well. When games aren't going in our favour, I'm not sure what the plan B is. I don't think there is one, because all he's doing is replacing like for like, or swapping that player from the left to the right and the right to the left. There's no plan B, and even if that plan B is, I don't know what it is, hoof it up and stop tapping it around. There needs to be a plan B when it comes to the final third of a game. And as you said earlier on, Paul, when it went to 3-2, it was just going to stay at 3-2 or go to 4-2. It was never going to be 3-3 because we were never going to score again.
I think, Leonard, though, we're only having 1 striker fit as well. I think in games you're losing, you could go 2 up front, but we haven't had any chances to do that for, I'd say about 4 or 5 months since them two have been fit. Because you could hide Wilson and Isaac up front, couldn't you, if we're losing? So you can't even go to a 4-4-2, really. It's just probably
when the summer comes, if we don't sign another striker, I tell you what it is. I won't believe it. And if Eddie House is not a priority, I'll not believe him.
Well, if you're playing last night, though, would you not think like Bruno and Isaac are thinking, oh my God, we're 10th, look at the state we're now. I mean, can you see any improvement? Are they going to want to stay around? They're going to have to show some ambition in the summer. It is a massive summer this summer. Massive.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I agree with you, Paul.
A lot of people leaving the club as well. I mean, they're going to have to act really quick.
You need to get rid of. There's this article about 4 players who aren't actually currently playing at Newcastle. They're out on loan. If you get rid of those 4 players, there's nearly £1 million a month on wages, about £210,000 a week. Now you can actually get a world-class player for that, or 2 canny good players for that, and that's just getting rid of 4 players that are currently playing elsewhere, without even considering getting rid of like some Matt Ritchie and people like that.
Yeah, I mean, people like Joe Linton are going to have a massive increase as well. You're probably talking another 70 grand a week on top. That's just Ryan Fraser's wage going on to Joe Linton.
Exactly.
And we need to keep him. He's got to be. I mean, this is, if anything, this has proved how big Joe Linton is for that midfield.
Yeah, but is he looking at it? Could he be looking at it now and going, "Oh, I was going to sign that contract 2 months ago. I don't know. Will I sign it now?" Or will I?
No, I don't think he'd be like that.
He's committed. Yeah.
I think he wants to stay in the. I think so. Anyway, if the match his wages, I think he would stay. Yeah. And I think Bruno might say, "I'll start out," unless someone comes in with his release clause. He'll possibly say, "Well, I'll give it till January, and if we're nowhere near the Champions League places, then I'll be off," or something like that. They'll probably do it like that. I mean, Eddie Howe next season, they'll give him the summer, which Luke Edwards has alluded to today. He said he's going to get the start next season, get a good window, and then obviously if we have a bad start next season, then the owners might get itchy feet. But he deserves to start next season, I think. He just needs to start not picking his favourites and learning from his mistakes.
And we'll have Tonali back. I mean, that's another thing as well. We've missed him.
Yeah, he only misses 2 games, doesn't he, next season?
Yeah, he's been gone best part of the season, and he's going forward. I believe he's a massive player for us. Yeah, huge player. So there's a lot of things. There is a lot of things to take into account. Yeah, we've had the injuries, and obviously maybe them players being out can affect other players' form, confidence, whatever. Call it what you want. I'll just be happy when the season's out the way, get to the summer, get some signings in, and then everyone's confident. We'll go again next season, and see where we go.
We can't allow the season to fizzle out, though. They've got to start putting in performance. I mean, some of them are playing for the futures. They're going to have to start putting it in. Like,
I would like to think we can qualify for Europe, and I'm quietly confident we will in some capacity. But we need to stop shipping goals and relying on people to get with 2 or 3 goals just to get anything out of a game. It's getting pretty ridiculous, really, for me. But there you go.
Defensively, they're a mess. They're a shambles.
Yeah, it's
like I said, I've seen signs last night, Robert. I hadn't seen much in Eddie Howe's time there last night. There was 2 or 3 players out there not trying.
Actually, there was one. I can't even remember.
Bruno just give up on the ball.
Yeah, that was it. There was one with Bruno, and he just didn't even bother chasing it. I
think they hooked him after that. They hooked him just after.
Yeah, that's what you normally see off opposition, but you don't normally see that in a black and white shirt. Not since Eddie Howe.
Nobody. I mean, who's telling them there's a man on though? There's nobody. There's no communication. Nobody speaks. When we concede a goal, nobody's having a go at each other. When they concede, they should be in each other's face, man.
That was exactly the incident I remember, where he's standing in the middle and somebody just comes up, takes the ball off him, and he just looks around and just doesn't even bother chasing it. But you're right, nobody told him there was a man on,
Yeah.
You guys watched the whole game. Were Chelsea there for the taking?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially at the start, and then they got they're a confidence team. They did play some nice stuff, but you always felt you could score against them. I mean, decent sides will just pick them off.
I think they were just less shit than us. That was where I was before we came. I was saying
the crowd as well. Then the crowd were even at 3-1. The crowd they seem to still be against Pochettino. Don't they?
I know. They've made their mind up.
It's my favourite part of the show. Yeah, time with a few fun games.
It's not
Which game we're playing? Oh, well, actually, can I just make a point? Can I just make a point here, please? For those people watching who are fortunate enough to be watching this now, we did actually record a program a week ago, which never went out because Rob pressed the wrong button. And can I just make it quite clear? We tried a new quiz and I got the first answer right. So just so anybody watching this who thinks I'm completely useless at these competitions, I was quite good last week, but nobody will ever see it.
Right. Well, everyone's going to see this one. So here we go. Who is this? Come on, that's easy.
Frank Clark.
Frank. I knew it was Frank. Well done.
I'll tell you what, Naz. I think that could be there could be a new wooden spoon champ on the horizon. Yeah, like, yeah, well done, Len. Well done,
Frank Clark, Rob. Sorry, I've got a delay. I've got a delay there. Sorry.
Are you buffering?
Yeah. He's got some fat on
Frank Clark.
You're like Sean Longstaff buffering.
I've only done two for the day. Because I've been really pressed for time the day. So next one, here we go. Who is this?
Frank Clark.
Mick Martin.
Oh, I
Len.
Len. I knew it was a Mick.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yes,
I'm just glad.
Mick Martin, Rob.
Well done, Len. Clean
Thanks.
sweep.
Thanks,
Paul, you're gonna have to hope you're
Rob, I had a delay there, man.
No, you didn't. Go on.
Mick Clark.
Well
was
done,
Mick
Len.
Clark.
Yeah. Right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Good crack as normal, and we shall all be back on Sunday to review the Man City game.
We'll have to, Rob.
Well, hey, look, strange things happen in football, but like we all said before, none of us are confident.
At least if we get through, we're at Wembley.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. See how it pans out. Yeah,
Chelsea
right,
again.
everyone.
Chelsea again.
On behalf of myself, Paul and Len, enjoy the rest of your week, and good luck in Newcastle on Saturday night. And hopefully miracles can happen, and we shall see you all on Sunday afternoon. Until then, take care, everyone, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye now.